Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. Little something different here. Sports. If you follow the NBA at all, you know Kyrie Irving is one of the most talented players in the league, but also one of the most polarizing. Last year, made headlines, a lot of drama surrounding his decision not to take the COVID vaccine, which led him to miss half the season. Now, he recently shared on social media a documentary that's littered with anti-Semitism. This, in addition to previously sharing Alex Jones conspiracies, and he just shared it. Didn't expect any pushback. Kinda, sorta has apologized, but the Brooklyn Nets have not done anything in terms of suspensions. The NBA has not done anything in suspensions, and now all we're left with is Kyrie Irving putting out weird, grandiose, vague statements in response to him promoting this anti-Semitic film. Let me get you the background on this, on what Kyrie did here. Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving defends his tweet about a documentary criticized as anti-Semitic and stands by sharing a video by Alex Jones. Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving said that he is, quote, not going to stand down on anything I believe in after he was condemned by the owner of the NBA team for tweeting a link to a documentary deemed to be anti-Semitic. The star guard tweeted a link Thursday to the 2018 movie, quote, Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, which is based on Ronald Dalton's book of the same name. Rolling Stone described the book and movie as, quote, stuffed with anti-Semitic tropes. In a fraught post-game press conference after the Nets lost to the Indiana Pacers on Saturday, Irving defended his decision to post a link to the documentary. Quote, in terms of backlash, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody, and I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life, he said. So, quote, so the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations, and it's a big no-no. I don't live my life that way. Okay. Well, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, Joe Tsai, who signs his paycheck, which is $33 billion this season, by the way, tweeted, I'm disappointed that Kyrie appears to support a film based on a book full of anti-Semitic disinformation. I want to sit down and make sure he understands this is hurtful to all of us. And as a man of faith, it is wrong to promote hate based on race, ethnicity, or religion. So the owner of the Nets decided to tweet that he's disappointed by Kyrie Irving's anti-Semitism rather than, I don't know, suspending him, actually delivering some consequence. So Kyrie Irving, after refusing to apologize or really do anything for a couple days, he has come out now and tried to throw money at the problem. He is donating $500,000 towards causes and organizations that work to eradicate hate and intolerance in our communities. So Kyrie is throwing $500,000 at these organizations, and the Nets are separately throwing $500,000 at groups against hate. Well, I don't know about you, but if a star athlete, who, by the way, has quite the following on the right wing, a lot of COVID truthers, anti-vax people loved Kyrie Irving last year. He was their hero for sticking it to the man and refusing to take the vaccine. Well, they follow a lot of what Kyrie Irving says and does. So him, I mean, when you're sharing stuff on social media, you are promoting it, promoting this anti-Semitic garbage, and then there being no consequences, no suspension, no fine, no nothing. It's influential to a lot of people who follow Kyrie Irving, including young people who follow stars like Kyrie Irving as role models. When you look at a statement from the NBA commissioner, who, again, has the power to suspend Kyrie Irving, called it reckless. This is from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Kyrie Irving made a reckless decision to post a link to a film containing deeply offensive anti-Semitic material. While we appreciate the fact that he agreed to work with the Brooklyn Nets and the Anti-Defamation League to combat anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination, I am deeply disappointed that he has not offered an unqualified apology and more specifically denounced the vile and harmful content contained in the film he chose to publicize. I will be meeting with Kyrie in person in the next week to discuss the situation. So you're deeply disappointed. but you won't do anything about it because, yeah. By the way, the NBA has suspended players for homophobic comments. They got rid of NBA owner Donald Sterling a couple years ago because tapes came out of him making blatantly racist comments about people underneath him. He was forced out of the league, but they're not going to do anything to Kyrie Irving. Why is that? Well, I have some theories here, but let's listen to Kyrie Irving today when the media is again just asking him simple questions like, do you consider yourself anti-Semitic? Let's listen to Kyrie Irving's twisting himself into a pretzel not to answer.
Do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. Yeah. I mean, if you've been following Kyrie Irving, if you follow the NBA, you know, Kyrie Irving, he's kind of like, I don't know, the Michael Tracy of the NBA. He's just robotically contrarian and essentially just by default needs to go the other way. It doesn't really matter what the topic is. He's going to have a contrarian view. By the way, he's pushed the flat earth theory in the past, other conspiracy theories, but it's kind of a simple answer, yes or no. And I know some people don't like getting boxed into having to answer yes or no, but do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs? He can't even answer that. I mean, this is a terrible look for the NBA at a time when anti-Semitic violence and anti-Semitic hate is on the rise. Let me show you this. The Anti-Defamation League, which tracks anti-Semitic behavior nationwide, found 2,717 incidents in 2021. That's a 34% rise from the year before and averages out to more than 7 anti-Semitic incidents per day. Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League and author of the recent book, It Could Happen Here. I mean, Kyrie Irving must kind of have an idea that there's rising anti-Semitism in the country. I mean, did he pay attention to Charlottesville a couple years ago when they were walking around with tiki torches saying Jews will not replace us? How he has not been suspended, even fined by the NBA is beyond me. Let's listen to Charles Barkley, NBA Hall of Famer, basically making the same point. I mean, I don't really understand what is so difficult about this. And if you want to know in the weeds, if maybe you're not a sports fan, so I'll explain it to you. But at the end of the day, the Brooklyn Nets, which Kyrie Irving is a part, have been a fucking hot mess for the last year or two, in large part because Kyrie Irving made it that way. Kyrie Irving was the one that recruited Kevin Durant, who is the star player of the Nets. He's one of the top 5 best players in the NBA. Kyrie Irving recruited Kevin Durant to come to the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant actually wanted to go to the New York Knicks. Kyrie Irving said, because it was a package deal, Kevin and Kyrie wanted to play together. No, let's start something new. Let's not go to the Knicks. Let's go to the Nets. That's why Kevin Durant left the Golden State Warriors and signed with the Brooklyn Nets 2 or 3 summers ago. So it was a package deal. So last year when Kyrie, for reasons that still don't make a lot of sense, refused to take the vaccine, the Nets tanked because they were without one of their best players. It was a lost season, even when Kyrie was able to come back once New York changed its rules for unvaccinated players. He was allowed to come back, but at that point, it was a lost season. They couldn't, they didn't have enough time to mesh well as a team, and they got swept in the playoffs last year. Then over the summer, Kevin Durant, who is the best player on the team, he makes almost $43 million a year, by the way, which is another story. Absolutely gross that these players are making that. But he makes $43 million a year. He demanded a trade over the summer because of this dysfunction. The Nets, because they couldn't get what they thought was fair value for Kevin Durant back, they met with Kevin Durant after a few weeks of trying to trade him. They kind of broke bread, mended fences a little bit, and they decided, let's run it back with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Well, now you have Kyrie Irving sharing anti-Semitic films on social media, refusing to just apologize, say, I didn't look into it close enough. I'm horrified that people would think I believe in this stuff. I apologize to the Jewish community or anyone else who was offended. Instead of doing that, which is kind of simple, he won't do that because, again, he's contrarian by default. I think, thinks he has a God complex or something, or thinks he knows better than everyone else. But the Nets won't suspend him for a simple reason. They're deathly afraid of upsetting Kevin Durant, who is their star player who demanded a trade over the summer. For whatever reason, Kevin Durant is allergic to criticizing Kyrie Irving. Apparently, they're very close friends. Kevin Durant did not criticize him publicly during the whole COVID thing last year when he wouldn't take the vaccine, which for half the season, he was not able to play because of New York rules. The Nets, for quite a bit of the season, wouldn't let him play at all, even road games. Then they allowed him just to play road games where he was eligible in other cities. And finally, towards the end of the season, he was allowed to play all games. Kevin Durant did not criticize him whatsoever publicly throughout that whole process. Kevin Durant has not criticized him for a whole host of other dramatic things that have been attached to Kyrie Irving. And Kevin Durant has not said peep after Kyrie Irving shared this anti-Semitic film. The Nets, I feel, if I believe they don't want to suspend Kyrie Irving because they are afraid Kevin Durant will just reauthorize or restart with his trade demands and say, I want to be traded, which will make their season another circus show, just like it was last year. They feel if they punish Kyrie in any way, they're going to alienate Kevin Durant and he's going to demand a trade again. So instead of doing the right thing, they're doing the wrong thing, not to alienate Kevin Durant. I don't know what the NBA's excuse is. If the Nets aren't going to act and suspend him, I don't know why the NBA is not going to act to suspend him. They have suspended players who have put out homophobic remarks. They pushed out an owner that was on tape making vile racist comments, but they're not going to suspend Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is very influential. A lot of young people, not just Kyrie Irving, but look up to players like Kyrie, LeBron, Kevin Durant, particularly in the Black community. They look up to these players as role models. And like I said, Kyrie Irving has quite a following on the right because he became their COVID god because he wouldn't take the vaccine. So by the NBA doing nothing, they're basically complicit in their silence and mainstreaming and normalizing this anti-Semitism.